Recap Alchemy Emperor of the Divine Dao, Chapter 909, Chapter Rory. In the quiet halls of the Luo clan residence, footsteps echoed sharply through the courtyard. Luo Li rushed through the gates like a man possessed, breath ragged, heart pounding wildly in his chest. Sweat clung to his robes as he searched frantically for the one person who could turn his discovery into a weapon. "Brother! Brother!" he shouted as he hurried deeper into the residence. For young nobles like the Luo brothers, life rarely revolved around the Scarlet Heaven Academy itself. Their clan estates offered far superior cultivation environments, and they only needed to appear at the academy once every 5 days to attend lectures. Most of their time was spent within the clan's powerful stronghold. Luo Li soon found Luo Ba and immediately began recounting everything he had witnessed earlier that day. Every detail poured out between heavy breaths: the pharmacy, the pills, Ling Han's actions. When Luo Ba finished listening, silence hung in the air for a brief moment. Then suddenly he burst into loud laughter. "Ha! Ling Han! Ling Han!" Luo Ba's eyes gleamed with malicious delight. "This time you've truly fallen into my hands. Let's see how you escape now." Luo Li stepped forward eagerly. Hatred burned deep in his heart as well. "Brother, what do you plan to do?" Luo Ba's expression turned thoughtful as he folded his arms. His gaze darkened with calculation. "A thief must be caught red-handed," he said slowly. "We'll have someone keep watch. The next time Ling Han appears, we'll capture him on the spot, with the stolen goods in hand." Luo Li hesitated before speaking again. "Brother, that fellow might have seen me earlier. If he did, he might choose a different place to sell his pills next time." Luo Ba nodded. His younger brother's concern was reasonable. "In that case, we'll prepare for both possibilities." His tone grew colder as his mind quickly assembled a scheme. "We'll wait until just before the monthly assessment this month. If we still haven't caught him by then, we'll report the matter directly." He smirked slightly. "With that pharmacy assistant acting as witness, Ling Han won't be able to deny anything." Luo Ba tapped his fingers against the table thoughtfully before continuing. "But for this plan, we'll need the help of the 17th clan elder." At the mention of that title, Luo Li's eyes brightened. The 17th elder of their Luo clan currently served as a rotating elder of the Northern Institution within Scarlet Heaven Academy. If he stepped forward, his authority would carry tremendous weight. "With his cooperation," Luo Ba said calmly, "it will be very easy to condemn Ling Han for this crime. Perhaps even execution would not be impossible." "That's right! He must die!" Luo Li growled, his eyes bloodshot with rage. The humiliation still burned like a wound in his heart. He, the dignified young master of the Luo clan, had once been beaten to the ground and forced to submit before Ling Han. That moment of disgrace haunted him endlessly. As long as Ling Han remained alive, Luo Li could never sleep peacefully. Yet Luo Ba's thoughts were colder and more calculating. Selling alchemical pills alone would not normally be enough to take Ling Han's life. After all, Ling Han was recognized as a 4-star genius, an extremely rare talent in the Academy's long history. However, rules were rules. If the 17th Elder exerted pressure and magnified the situation, turning a minor violation into a major offense, it would certainly be enough to have Ling Han expelled from Scarlet Heaven Academy. And once Ling Han lost the protection of the Academy, what would he be? Nothing more than a shattering void-tier cultivator from some insignificant small world. Without the Academy's backing, Luo Ba could crush him like an ant beneath his heel. "To dare steal the spotlight from me," Luo Ba murmured coldly. "This is the price you must pay." His eyes gleamed with icy killing intent. The first target was Ling Han. The second was Ma Xing. Both of them had overshadowed him recently, and he would settle accounts with them one by one. Only Cheng Haofei remained beyond his reach. Although the Cheng clan's influence was weaker than the Luo clan's, Cheng Haofei himself was not someone Luo Ba could easily deal with. For now, Luo Ba could only leave him alone. Otherwise, he would have eliminated all three. Meanwhile, Luo Li had no interest in the larger scheme. For him, destroying Ling Han alone would already bring immense satisfaction. A sinister grin slowly spread across his face as he imagined the day when Ling Han would be trampled beneath his feet. Not long afterward, Ling Han returned to Scarlet Heaven Academy. As fate would have it, He encountered Li Weiwei and Ji Yuna shortly after entering the grounds. The two women had already finished selling the first batch of prepared food ingredients. The results were excellent. Altogether, the ingredients had been sold for 36 true origin stones. As agreed earlier, Ling Han received half of the profits, 18 true origin stones, while Li Weiwei and Ji Yuna each earned 9 stones. In truth, this was an astonishing sum. Even though Ling Han and Ji Yuna were among the top 3 prodigies of the academy, the institution only distributed 2 true origin stones to them as a monthly allowance. That alone revealed how precious such stones truly were. Li Weiwei was especially pleased. Of course, as the daughter of the left minister, she did not truly lack 9 true origin stones, but these stones had been earned through her own effort. That made them infinitely more satisfying. "Oh, right," Li Weiwei suddenly said with a mischievous grin. "You've already skipped 2 classes with Big Sister Shui." Her expression gleamed with malicious delight. "Big Sister Shui is furious. You just wait to be killed." Working together with Ling Han to earn money was one matter, but teasing and tormenting Ling Han was another matter entirely. That urge had never disappeared. Ling Han let out a helpless sigh. During the past several days he had been fully absorbed in alchemy. Even now he still needed several more days to complete his work. After all, he had already purchased the medicinal ingredients. Naturally, he had to finish refining them. Besides, if he wanted to earn money, alchemy was his only path. After all, he did not possess a father who served as left minister, nor did he have a mother who held the position of right minister. Li Weiwei and Ji Yuna stayed a while longer. After eating a meal and amusing themselves by playing with the large, lazy cat, they prepared to leave. Before departing, each of them collected an entire spatial spirit tool's worth of food ingredients. Neither of them asked about Ling Han's own spatial spirit tool. Its internal space was clearly enormous, far larger than ordinary storage artifacts. Yet they did not question it. After all, neither of them were fools. Once they left, Ling Han returned to his true craft, alchemy. For 200 years in his previous life, he had lived as an alchemist. That identity had long since become part of his very bones. One day passed, then another, then a third. Time slipped by swiftly. Replenishing spirit pills were level 10 alchemical pills. Even Ling Han could not drastically shorten the refining process. Each furnace of pills required at least half a day to complete. Thus, by the time Ling Han finished refining all 10 batches of ingredients, 5 full days had passed, but the rewards were extraordinary. The first 2 furnaces produced only 4 successful pills each. Yet afterward, his mastery returned fully. The next 8 furnaces produced perfect results, 5 pills each. That was the standard of the Alchemy Emperor. Ling Han examined the results with quiet satisfaction. In total, he now possessed 48 replenishing spirit pills. Even if the market price remained 7 pills for 1 true origin stone, he would still earn 7 stones, 6 times the cost of his materials. The profits were astonishing. Of course, such returns were only possible for someone like him. For ordinary alchemists, earning 20 to 30% profit was already considered impressive. Ling Han's own first attempt had roughly fallen within that range, but he had long since surpassed such limitations. However, Ling Han had no intention of returning to the pharmacy. 7 pills for 1 true origin stone? That price was unacceptable. Instead, he had another destination in mind. Within Scarlet Heaven Academy, there existed a hidden marketplace, a black market known only to the students. There, goods were exchanged under the cover of secrecy. Everyone wore masks. No one asked about the seller's identity. No one questioned the buyer. If the price was acceptable, the transaction was completed on the spot. Simple, direct, and anonymous. Ling Han was confident. Even if he sold 5 pills for a single true origin stone, buyers would still compete to obtain them. Why? Because these pills were refined by his own hands. Ling Han had personally tested one earlier. The pills he refined were at least 30% more effective than the standard replenishing spirit pills issued by the Academy. And if 5 such pills were sold for 1 true origin stone, it would be strange if buyers did not scramble to purchase them. Night eventually fell over the Academy. Ling Han retrieved a cloak and a black scarf. After leaving his residence, he stepped into a secluded corner and concealed his appearance beneath the dark garments. Then he quietly made his way toward a small mountain. The imperial capital was enormous. Scarlet Heaven Academy itself was vast beyond imagination. Within its grounds stood 3 mountains. The one Ling Han approached was the smallest. Yet every night, this quiet place transformed. Stalls appeared along the mountain paths. Silent figures gathered beneath the moonlight. All of them concealed their identities. No one knew exactly when this tradition had begun, but the Academy had never interfered. That silence was, in itself, a form of permission. Thus the black market thrived. There were no lamps, no stored light crystals. Such crystals were commonly used in the immortal realm to illuminate darkness with adjustable brightness. Yet here, there was nothing, not even a single torch. Only moonlight cast faint silver shadows across the mountain. Low-key, mysterious. That was the essence of this place. Ling Han quietly chose a corner and sat down. In front of him, he planted a wooden sign. On it were written a few simple words. Replenishing spirit pills, sold in batches of 5, 1 true origin stone, extraordinary quality. Then he waited. Figures cloaked in black passed by one after another. Some glanced briefly at the sign. Others merely snorted softly in disdain. Most continued walking without stopping. After all, those who came here sought either rare treasures or extremely cheap bargains. If the price was similar to ordinary markets, why not simply buy outside? At least there, transactions were safer. If problems arose, one could still find the seller afterward. But here, everything depended solely on trust, and merely writing extraordinary quality on a wooden board was hardly convincing. Thus 2 full hours passed. Ling Han remained seated quietly. Finally, a towering figure approached. The man's physique was astonishingly robust. Even beneath his cloak, his powerful build could not be concealed. He stopped directly in front of Ling Han. His voice was deep. "Let me see the goods. I want to check them." Ling Han nodded calmly. Without hesitation, he took out a small pill bottle. Then he tossed it lightly toward the man. Inside the bottle, there was a single replenishing spirit pill. Translator Henyi Translations. Editor Henyi Translations. The bustling marketplace buzzed with quiet negotiations and wandering cultivators, but for Ling Han, the world had narrowed to a single moment, the transaction unfolding before him. The man standing opposite him accepted the small pill bottle and pulled out the cork with practiced familiarity. The instant the fragrance drifted into the air, his brows lifted in visible surprise. The scent alone already revealed much. It carried the unmistakable aura of the replenishing spirit pill, yet something about it felt purer. He tilted the bottle and allowed a single pill to roll into his palm. Holding it between his fingers, he inspected it closely, his gaze sharpening like that of a seasoned merchant evaluating precious treasure. The surface of the pill was smooth, its luster clean and refined. Finally, he nodded. "If they are all of this quality," he said calmly, "then give me 5 pills." Ling Han did not hesitate. He immediately handed over another bottle. After doing so, he took back the original pill that the man had examined and said politely, "Thank you for your patronage. You may examine them again." Though the man appeared composed, he clearly understood the nature of black market dealings. No one would flaunt their wealth here. Once the exchange was completed and they parted ways, neither side would acknowledge the other again. He opened the bottle and inspected the contents once more, his movements careful and deliberate. Only after confirming their quality did he nod with satisfaction. With a casual flick of his wrist, a true origin stone arced through the air toward Ling Han. Ling Han caught it and examined it just as carefully. The stone was genuine. However, it bore faint traces of prior usage, its spiritual essence slightly depleted. Naturally, that made it less valuable than a brand new stone. Still, it was acceptable. Both men nodded subtly. The deal was done. And just like that, Ling Han's little stall gained its first customer. Once one person had tested the waters, more inevitably followed. Curiosity spread quickly among cultivators. One buyer became 2, 2 became 3. Ling Han had originally retained 3 replenishing spirit pills from his first batch, consuming one himself. Combined with the 48 pills he had refined during the second round, the numbers aligned perfectly. 10 full portions. 10 times the profit. Ling Han felt quite satisfied with the result. Yet when he considered the time required, he frowned slightly. Even if he managed to refine 10 replenishing spirit pills per day, it would still take 5 full days to achieve that level of profit. Too slow, far too slow. If other alchemists could hear Ling Han's thoughts at that moment, they would likely erupt in fury. 10-fold profit in 5 days. Anda thought that was too little. They would probably want to strangle him on the spot. Many would even suspect that heaven itself might strike him with lightning for harbouring such outrageous arrogance. But Ling Han merely nodded to himself thoughtfully. The real reason his earnings seemed small was simple. The replenishing spirit pill itself was not particularly valuable. If he were refining something like a level 10 godly pill, or invent the highest grade level 20 godly pill, the story would be entirely different. Yes, the profit margin might still be around 10 times, but the actual income? It would soar into the hundreds of thousands, even millions, of true origin stones. Compared to that, what he had just earned was merely pocket change. Still, there was nothing to be done. At present, he was still nothing more than a small-time alchemist. I'll take one. Just as Ling Han was organizing his thoughts, a woman's voice drifted into his ears. The voice carried a faint coolness, like moonlight touching still water, yet it was also pleasing to hear. Ling Han glanced up. He had exactly 1 pill remaining. Without hesitation, he handed it over. The transaction was completed smoothly. After finishing the exchange, Ling Han brushed the dust from his clothes, turned around, and departed. For the moment, he had no intention of continuing to refine pills. His true priority lay elsewhere. He needed to master and integrate the 6 cultivation techniques he possessed. Only then could he push his strength toward the terrifying threshold of 20 stars within the shattering void tier. After achieving that, he would break through into the mountain river tier. If he failed to reach the immortal level in this world, then he would forever remain nothing more than an insignificant ant beneath the heavens. Still, he would not abandon alchemy entirely. Every day he would consume 1 pill to nourish and strengthen his spirit. That was essential for his cultivation. Meanwhile, the mysterious woman who had purchased the final pill opened the bottle. She lifted one of the pills and placed it between her lips. The moment the medicinal energy spread through her body, her eyes widened in astonishment. "This!" Her beautiful brows furrowed slightly. "The effect is 30% stronger than an ordinary replenishing spirit pill." Such improvement was astonishing. The replenishing spirit pill itself was not a particularly high-grade godly pill. Few alchemists would waste time studying ways to improve such a basic formula, yet someone had managed to increase its effectiveness by 30%. That was no small feat. Under the thin veil covering her face, the woman's expression shifted into one of deep shock. If the improvement came from modifying the original recipe, the benefit would only apply to this single type of pill. But if the enhancement resulted from some revolutionary alchemy technique, then the implications were enormous. It would shake the entire field of alchemy. Fortunately, she had already memorized his scent. A smug smile appeared beneath her veil. Her name was Gu Lingyu. Within the imperial capital, she was known as the final member of the 3 Great Beauties. However, she had entered Scarlet Heaven Academy 2 years earlier. Unlike most students who belonged to the northern, southern, eastern, or western institutions, Gu Ling studied in a different place entirely. The Alchemy Institution. This institution accepted only alchemists. Her talent in alchemy was exceptional, and the reason for that talent was her extraordinary sense of smell. Once she encountered a scent, she could remember it perfectly. For an alchemist, such a gift was priceless. If he truly refined this pill, she murmured softly to herself, then perhaps we can exchange insights on alchemy. Excitement flickered within her eyes. She followed the faint trail of Ling Han's scent, her delicate nose occasionally twitching as she tracked the invisible path through the academy grounds. Eventually, she arrived outside the student quarters of the Northern Institution. At first, she assumed Ling Han had simply passed by. But then she watched him enter the courtyard and he never came out. Time passed, her surprise deepened. He's a cultivator, not an alchemist. Gu Lingyu decided to wait. Before making contact, she intended to investigate his background thoroughly. After all, the Gu clan was no ordinary family. They were a prominent clan within the imperial capital. Obtaining information about a student's identity would be extremely easy. Meanwhile, Ling Han remained completely unaware that he had attracted the attention of such a curious beauty. He had already returned to his residence and immersed himself once again in cultivation. His mind focused entirely on integrating the 6 cultivation techniques he had gathered. However, after an entire night of contemplation, he still had no breakthrough. That was hardly surprising. What he was attempting had never been done before. He was walking an entirely new path. 3 days later, Ling Han finally returned to class. The moment he entered the classroom, he saw the Luo brothers standing with their arms folded across their chests. They stared at him with cold sneers. Ling Han did not care in the slightest. Even without considering their clan background, he could cripple both brothers with a single hand if he wished. Soon, the class began. Shu Yanyu entered the room gracefully. Her beauty immediately drew everyone's attention. As her soft gaze swept across the students, it paused briefly on Ling Han. A faint smile appeared on her lips. "I truly did not expect to see Ling Han today," she said with a playful tone. "It almost overwhelms me." Her words were clearly laced with sarcasm. After all, she had only conducted 4 classes so far, and Ling Han had skipped 2 of them. That was practically ignoring her lectures. Ling Han immediately explained, "These past few days, I have been studying how to break through toward 13 stars within the Shattering Void tier. Later, I hope to consult teacher for guidance." Shu Yanyu studied him carefully. Then she nodded. If Ling Han had truly spent his time researching cultivation breakthroughs, she naturally would not blame him. In fact, she would gladly assist him. But if he were merely making excuses, then she would not hesitate to reprimand him. Soon the lecture began. With Shu Yanyu standing on stage, speaking calmly and elegantly, the classroom atmosphere changed entirely. The male student watched her with captivated eyes, utterly intoxicated by her beauty. The female students carefully observed her posture, gestures, and expressions. How could she exude such irresistible feminine charm? She was gentle without appearing seductive, enchanting without seeming flirtatious. Her presence felt perfectly balanced. Before long, the class came to an end. Ling Han immediately approached her. He began asking about the possibility of integrating 6 different cultivation techniques. Shu Yanyu was startled. She had never considered such an idea before. Within the immortal realm, countless people possessed multiple spirit bases. Even those born without one could cultivate a spirit base by consuming divine medicines. Thus, having 6 spirit bases was not particularly rare. Likewise, cultivating 6 different techniques simultaneously was not unheard of. The real challenge lay in merging them together. Although Shu Yanyu had already passed through the Shattering Void tier, Ling Han's question sparked her curiosity. The 2 of them began discussing the concept seriously. Ling Han explained his thoughts. Shu Yanyu responded with her own insights. Through analogy and theoretical reasoning, they explored various possibilities. Gradually, Ling Han began to see a direction forming in his mind. Though success was far from guaranteed and the time required remained uncertain. At least now he had a path to pursue. Yet as the 2 continued their discussion, their close interaction did not escape the notice of others. Many of the male students stared with burning jealousy. "Humph," one of them muttered. "Trying to court her like this? Clever, but he picked the wrong person." Another sneered. "Shu Yanyu belongs to senior brother Zhao. Anyone daring to pursue her is asking for death." A third scoffed coldly. "Just because he's the #1 freshman, he thinks he's amazing." Someone suddenly suggested, "Let's go inform senior brother Zhao." Meanwhile, Ling Han's thoughts had already drifted elsewhere. The moment inspiration struck him, he immediately excused himself. Without even lingering to chat further, he hurried away at full speed. He could not wait to return and test his new ideas. Shu Yanyu watched his departing figure and smiled faintly. This young man, he truly is obsessed with cultivation. Since she now understood that Ling Han had genuinely spent his time researching cultivation techniques, she had no intention of punishing him for skipping class. However, there was something she did not know. If she ever learned that Ling Han had secretly opened a small business refining pills, and had even succeeded in improving the replenishing spirit pill, then she would surely be stunned beyond words, because only then would she realize just how monstrous this young man truly was.